Why you keep finding yourself back in the same pattern, even though you're really trying to avoid it, right? I'm really late to the Manosphere party here, but there's something in that documentary that is really useful for us to talk about around how our beliefs self-reinforce themselves, particularly unconscious beliefs. And the reason this documentary is really useful for it is the guys in this documentary, their beliefs are quite overt, and it becomes a lot easier for us to dissect what's going on to see how this pattern plays out, right? A couple of guys in that documentary basically said that they have come to the belief that all women are bitches, and they want a man who's going to control them and tell them what to do, right? Now, obviously, something has happened to these guys that has hurt them in the past. They've been rejected badly or whatever it might be that has caused this belief in the first place. But I want to think about, like, if you truly believe what they believe, how that will then perpetuate in the relationships and the people around you. You know, if that is the way that you see the world, if you then interact with any woman who's got any level of good self-esteem, she's going to tell you to get the fuck, right? She's not going to stand for that kind of behavior. The women who are going to be, I don't want to say drawn, but are going to be open to someone behaving in that way are going to be the ones who probably have some level of father wound issues that are unresolved. And unconsciously, they're going to be looking for people who are going to give them that that feeling of control, because that's what's been missing, right? So the belief, whether it's overt, like these guys from the documentary, or it's unconscious, like the woman with the father wound issues, it reinforces itself because the way the belief makes those guys show up in a certain way, which gets a response from other people that reinforces itself. Now, this is true for any relational belief that you have unconsciously, where it's absolute. If you believe that all men can't be trusted, or all women are only interested in money, or people aren't worth trying to get to know because they'll let you down, you absolutely, I understand that there's a very good reason why you've come to that belief. But at the same time, as a result of that belief, your behavior will change in a way that reinforces it and creates responses from people, or creates separation from people. That means that you only end up interacting with people who kind of fit that dynamic, right? Now, the other thing about how that's reinforced is very often when we then attack and shame and blame people for their actions, like the guys in the documentary, in many ways, it's only ever going to compound and reinforce that belief further. Those guys who have that belief, if all they're getting on their socials is women attacking them and telling them how horrible they are, it's reinforcing their belief that women are bitches, right? Now, this conversation needs to be approached, but for all of these situations, the starting point needs to be an understanding of what is the belief behind the actions, how is that driving the behavior, and then also what's caused that belief in the first place, right? People don't change if we attack the behavior of the way they've been. They change when we start understanding what has happened that has led them to believing that that's the right course of action. Okay, that's why people come to therapy. In a therapy session, what we're doing is we're looking for those unconscious beliefs. We're doing our best to try and track them down. And we don't try and shame them. We don't try and attack them. We spend some time looking at why they are there in the first place. And then we try and poke holes in the belief to find examples of when that isn't the case, where there might be a possibility of a more empowering and opening belief that gives us more space and more ability to move freely in the world.